Okay, hello, good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to welcome you here at the free event from Beetroot Academy. And today, together with the great speaker Alex, we're going to help you navigate the topic of a career in front-end development. My name is Veronica. I'm event manager at Beetroot Academy, and I will help you facilitate this event. And I'm also responsible for the organizational and technical stuff that will come along this webinar. So I will take up just a couple of minutes at the beginning to walk you through the general structure, general information that you may inquire at the beginning. And then, of course, I will give the word to our speaker to actually present the topic. So we shall start with our basic need, that is to check the quality of the internet, of the sound, and of the video. So please use live chat and tell me if you can see me, if you can see me and hear me good, and also if you can see the presentation. If at some point of the event any technical issues come up, please also let me know in the live chat. Basically, our chat today will be our main topic of main tool, of the communication. So in case you have any comments, feedback, and also questions, I encourage you writing there. As for the event, I think we'll aim up to an hour, maybe hour and a half, but that at maximum, to cover up two main blocks of the event. So the first one, the biggest one, is the information itself. So we're going to talk about a career in front-end development. Who are those specialists? What do they usually do? And what tasks and challenges they may face in their day-to-day work. And also we'll try to help you navigate the decision if this job, if this career is actually a good fit for you. So in case you have these doubts or maybe some challenging thoughts, please, again, write them down in the live chat and we will cover them during the second part of the event, which is a Q&A session. I believe that part is the most important of the event because that is the time and place to communicate with our speaker and ask him any kind of questions, starting from, his personal experience in the field. How did he start? Well, 8 years ago, but still, how was his journey and how it's going on? And also any questions and tips you might inquire about your personal career. How would you start? How would you actually get this profession? How would you develop a portfolio, for example? So anything regarding studying career, because not only our today's speaker is a great front-end developer with a huge amount of experience in professional field, but he also is experienced teacher at Beetroot Academy, and he has worked already with several groups, and he knows all too well how people start, how people switch from one field to another, and he's here to help you navigate that, let's say, not even first step into your transition, but like step 0.5 in making decision to change your career. I also would like to remind you that no worries if you have to maybe leave early, if you fear that your internet connection is poor and you won't catch anything, because the event today will be recorded and it will be sent to you in the email that you used to register for the event, alongside with the presentation, any additional bonuses that we have at the event, and in case we come up with a recommendation, let's say a book, an article, whatever, we'll also link it in the email so you can conveniently access them at any time because they will be with you and you can rewatch the recording, look through the presentation to revise a little bit the information that you got today. To be honest, that's all on my part. I hope everything's fine with the quality of the sound and the video. If no, please let me know. And I actually will give the word to Alex to first of all present himself and then of course follow with the topic.
Yes, hello guys, thanks for such a warm introduction, and let me introduce myself. My Ukrainian name sounds like Alexander, but my foreign colleagues call me Alex or Sasha. I am front-end developer from Ukraine. I'm located in Ukraine, and almost 9 years ago, I have started my journey in front-end developer career. I have started it in unusual way because I was graduated from university as a land management specialist, but I decided that it's not my cup of tea and I would like to switch to IT career. So yeah, since that time I spent years in self-study, and at this point I'm a front-end technical lead in a big company. Currently I'm working on L'Oréal Paris, It's a beauty brand. You may know, you may hear about it. And we are working on Maybelline New York website. So I am a person who responsible for all front-end processes there. And last 3 years, I have a part-time activity. It's teaching in Beetroot Academy. I am absolutely satisfied about it because I'm willing to share my knowledge. I like to share my knowledge, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you to reflect a bit on what front-end development is. And during today's webinar, we're gonna find out what front-end development is. We will talk about our typical tasks, about my typical day, and we will check if it's used for you. So let me yeah, what to expect. A quick intro into the world of front-end, tips on how to tell if front-end is a good fit. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to provide all questions and I will try to answer them. Okay, passing the word to you.
But actually, before starting with the have informational block, which of course is super useful, let's do a quick mood check because I imagine that it's Thursday already, right? So it's almost the end of the working week, and I believe we're all kind of worked up, and we have to switch from the day-to-day move to the webinar, and try to absorb the information. So I suggest us doing this quick check-in to see in what mood we are all today. So the task, let's say, is pretty simple. So I suggest you picking a cat that represents your mood and state right now as perfectly as it can be, and write this number in the chat to see on this scale of cat where we are today. And while I'm waiting for the responses from you guys, Alex, still same task for you. So which cat would you pick to represent yourself, to represent your mood?
Probably today somewhere between number 1 and number 2. I know they are opposite, so I'm full of energy, but if I would have a chance, I would like to sleep a bit.
Yeah, of course. I understand you all too well. I think that I am cat number 7 because I think that is a perfect match because, this cat is already in the box. I think it can just curl it up there and sleep, which I'm also pretty open to that opportunity. But he'll still peeking through that box, and I think that's who I am today, just peeking at the world of front end, which I don't know that well, but I'm eager to explore. We have an answer number 5. So pretty grown cat with maybe some experience in front end. I always think that people who pick cats number 5, they already know something about the field. So that's why they're not number 4, young and unexperienced, but some kind of people who have already discovered a bit about this profession. Thank you so much for sharing that. I look forward to seeing maybe any other options. And for now, I think we can actually move to the informational part and start discussing maybe what is front-end development as a career, as a sphere of tech.
Yes, thank you. So, first of all, when I'm working every day, it's very pleasant for me to think that I'm working on something very important and very useful for people, for humanity. So let me explain why front-end is very important for humanity. And it plays a vital role in making websites, application, and make it accessible to all users. So basically, when we are talking about some application or web application, website, we are talking about some information that we wanted to represent to the end user. We wanted to let users use this information. And basically, front-end developer is responsible for this layer between information and user. Our main goal is to provide the easiest, the most pleasant way to get this information, to use these features. It should work fast, it should work smooth, it should be easy to interact. IT product development is one of the most advanced industries in the modern world. It covers everything from software development, websites, mobile application, online stores, even like displays in airport with schedule of flights. All there is information, and always we wanted to show it. That's why we need a front end. So front end is a part of product development that ensures user interaction with the interface. We are responsible for creating specific part of this product and ensuring that it will work effective and it represents information in a proper way. How do we achieve this goal? Typical tasks and goals for us, it's to transform designs. Design basically is like a blueprint of your web application or application, never mind. So we transform these designs, including appearance, navigation, buttons, all elements, pictures, into code. And with this transition, we are making user interaction possible. Next typical task is present information in a readable, user-friendly format. We need to ensure that website works correctly in different browsers, if we are talking about web applications, but basically it's more global thing, because you may open a web page using your laptop, using your PC, using your TV, using your mobile phone, or using your Apple Watch. Yeah, and that's the point where front end comes complex, because we need to ensure that this information will be represented in the proper way in all possible devices, in all possible screens, and in all possible variations. And the last typical task is a testing on various combinations of operating systems, browsers, devices, but we need to ensure and we need to test our result with a different type of content, with a different assets. That's what we are. That's what I'm usually trying to teach my students during the lessons, that you should test your application with a different type of content, because never trust nobody. And before we will start with a typical day, I would like to show you a simple example. How does it work? For example, we need to implement some feature and we need to display some information. Client need to display some information. He asks for a design team, okay, guys, I need to represent this, this, and this. Please create a design how it should look. And here I have the example of a design from my current project. It's a model. It could be a small component or it could be a whole page. And at this point, it's only a reference. It's only a mock-up. Or if we would compare it with the real world, we could say it's a blueprint of your house, and we are building a house. So here we have a blueprint of our house, where we could take all required information about assets, how it should look, about sizes, about position, about behavior. And after this, me as a front-end developer should transform it into something real. Like here. Here is example of this model in a bit different variation, because we have different variations of it. But at this point, it's a real piece of web application, and it could be used by end user. So under the hood, this web application looks like a bunch of the code. For example, like this. Here we may see a lot of different keywords, which says nothing to the unaware people. But for me, it says pretty much. We have 4 main tools which we are using for transforming design into something real. It's HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some popular framework. In my case, it's Vue.js, but in scope of Beetroot Academy courses, usually we are talking about React.js. So that's why we need to merge our knowledges. We need to use all these 4 tools and represent it into something real, into real house. Let's call it like this. What about my typical day? Usually it depends on the part of the month, because we are working in a sprint approach on my current position. What sprint is? Sprint, it's like a piece of work restricted, I'm sorry, restricted in time, when we have like a bunch of different features which we need to implement, and we are separating them in a pieces, in a work pieces, in a sprints, and trying to deliver them during that time. Usually it's from 3 to 4 weeks, and my day could be different depending on which part of sprint we have now. At the beginning of each sprint, my typical day looks like infinite meetings with my colleagues, where we plan features, where we plan our work for next month. We are talking about capacity, about estimations, what time do we need to implement it, how it should work, where we could start it. We are setting up priorities and planning the our next weeks. After it, we have week or 2 weeks of typical front-end work. Usually, it's writing code using HTML, CSS, JavaScript to represent designs like I showed you, intro code like I showed you after. During that time, we are trying to review all requirements very carefully, maybe consult with some accessibility specialists, with SEO specialists, test our features, test result in a different browsers. It's, in my opinion, it's the most tough part of the development process, when you need to create something from scratch. But mostly you will write a code. And next we have 1 week of bug fixing. And if you work carefully, you won't have any bugs, you won't have any mistakes. So you will have a bit of free time, and you will be able to cover your code with testing cases, or just spend time for something useful. I don't know. And at the end of each sprint, we have planning for the next sprint, when we are trying to set up proper requirements for new tasks, for new features, when we have discussions with clients, because usually clients is a non-technical person and usually they don't know what they need. So we are not only a developers, we should be a consultants. You should bring your experience to client and provide your thoughts on it, how it should work the best, because only one person you should take care of, it's the end user. So you should protect him from, I would say, some dangerous design things. And yeah, that's it. How to tell if frontend is your cup of tea. Okay, if we are talking about web development, because I'm not aware about another fields. If you are talking about web development, we have like three main directions. We have web design, when designers creating mockups. Basically, they creating like a pictures. It's not real, but it's a reference for developers. You should be very creative at this direction. Number two, it's a backend development, which requires you to manage with databases, with a huge amount of different information, store it, organize it in, as I said, in databases. And at this point, at this direction, you should be very precise person. You will be like true programmer. Usually, such people are very serious, very like groomy, but they, that they are very soft inside. And front-end development is something in the middle. If you are not feeling that you are very super creative, but you are not very strict, you are not very precise, you should choose a front-end development because you will see the result of your work, and it's very important for me, for example. In case if you would decide to work as a backend developer, you won't able to see a result of your work because you are working only with the information without visual representation. If you are working with a design, you will have only visual part without like real interaction. And front-end has both. And it's the most pleasant part for me. So if you like to see result of your work, if you like to solve interesting tasks, sometimes in very unusual way, it's suits for you. Passing my word to you.
Thank you. So I would take the word from you for a little bit just to discuss about one of the, it's not actually a bonus from the webinar, but I believe it's a great source of both useful information and inspiration. And those are our success stories from our graduates that we have in our blog on our website. Pretty easy to find, and you can like sort it out for different categories. Why I believe it's a good source of information? Because these students, these stories, I'm sorry, are like written down by the interview of a student, of a graduate, and not only from front-end course, but from the other courses at Beetroot Academy. And those are stories about how a person decided to change their career and actually managed to do it. And I think those stories are packed with different tips and tricks that these people like picked up on their way to like studying and completing a course, or to actually navigating the job market and passing the interviews and doing test tasks. That's why usually at the end or somewhere in the story as it is, there are different, again, like tips, advice that you can take and you can use in your own journey, but as well as like actually useful. Those stories, I find them to be so much like inspiring and motivational because, again, those are the stories of people who decided to change their career and managed to do that. And I find it so beautiful. And again, it gives me so much motivation and like belief in yourself because Alex, while he's a great like professional with almost 9 years, you mentioned, of experience, he's pretty advanced in his career, and it may feel, like a little bit detached from what he can tell you. But those people usually started their way just as you are. They may change from a completely different non-technical field and decided to pursue front end, for example. And what challenges they did have or didn't have, what tips they can share, and how they just overcame this challenge of finding a completely new job, especially when you are not like a high schooler. That I believe is a great source of motivation, and I would really recommend you checking those out, not only for front-end development, but also for other courses, and to give you a bit more of motivation and also to showcase the work of our graduates. I believe Alex has prepared one work from his graduate. Yeah, so she was your student, as far as I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And we can show you a bit of like a work. I believe it's a website. Well, actually, Alex, I will give the word to you because you know a little bit better about it.
Yeah. So the best way to represent what we are doing on our course is to show you the real case. Let me describe only in a short way what do we have during our course. We have like 4 main modules. As I said, we have 4 main tools for front-end development: each HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. So the same we have in a course. And usually our students, it's people with no experience at all. Usually it's people from different fields of study, but not from IT. And here I have a list of homeworks of a beautiful girl. She worked as, I believe she worked as a translator. Yeah, she worked as a talent manager, as a team lead, but not IT, not front end at all. So basically, now we are looking at the very first home assignment that she made. It was in scope of our first module. It's HTML module, where we trying to understand what HTML is, why do we need it. Spoiler, we need it to create structures for our website. And yeah, it looks pretty basic, I would say, but it was a good result for two lessons. At the end of each module, we have like a summary project. So for project number 1, we have such result. It's HTML plus CSS. So CSS, it's a styling. It allows us to add, to breathe life, to breathe more fancy in our structure. So if HTML, it's like a brick for your walls, CSS, it's like a paint for your walls. So we are painting our walls. We are creating real pages, which looks very nice, in my opinion. And at the end of each course, we have like the very final project. And now we are looking at the final project of this beautiful student. She's a great fan of Korean TV series, Korean drama. So she decided to create a website about Korean drama with a beautiful interactive carousel, with the list of movies, and with the possibility to find your favorite Korean drama to check it. I don't know. Maybe you could hint me what should I type? What is your favorite?
I'm watching right now her private life, so we can check this out.
Her private
Life.
life.
Yes, the
Yeah,
first one.
we do have it here. And we could click it, add it to watch list. Yeah, so This application, it's like the the most I would say the highest part, the highest point that students could achieve. And um, she spent 4 months to achieve this point. Not for this application, but to get knowledge to create this application. She started from absolutely scratch, like here, and she ended with this. So I would say it's a pretty decent result, and inspires me all the time because I have spent 3 years for such a result because I studied myself. So now we could talk a bit about our course. Yeah, how
Yeah,
do we teach?
our course and academy in general, because you may wonder at some point who we are to even talk about tech careers and front-end development in particular. So for those who are not that well familiarized with us, so we are Beetroot Academy, and we are a Swedish-Ukrainian tech school that provides with courses to get a tech profession, both more technical, like front-end development, and as well as design, project management, etc. So we have been working for, well, 10 years actually, and for this time we have successfully graduated more than 12,000 students who in their turn have successfully gotten a job in more than 700 companies worldwide, and we're extremely proud of those numbers. Except for those numbers, we also have a wide network of different partners and organizations who support us in different ways. Either they propose different internship programs for our graduates, they take our graduates on a paid basis as their co-workers after our courses, and they also help us organize different courses. And such organization as Almega, which is a European organization acknowledging educational projects, actually checked our program and our methodology, and we are accredited, and the courses that we provide you are actually believed to provide great results by that organization. And on the certificate that you will end up with after the course, there is also a sign that it's Omega approved by Swedish Standard of Education. As for the studying process, as it is in a course, we usually take up to 13 or 15 people in a group, so it's a pretty cozy environment both for you as a student, our teacher, to get feedback to everyone to help you navigate your questions and challenges. We also have a separate learning management system, or LMS for short, to keep all the materials and to give you those materials for lifelong term of exploitation after the course. And we also have a few bonuses that we add to each course, no matter what we choose. Those are, for example, career consultant, separate module where we help you create your CV, your LinkedIn profile, your cover letter, and get feedback from our recruiters on those documents you create. So when you actually will start looking for a job, at least one recruiter already has looked at the CV you have and proofread it and help you to pick the points which may be a little bit adjusted to present yourself to your full potential. And of course, we have an AI module added to each course, as today it's one of the most popular demands, at least to know what artificial intelligence is, to navigate it, and also to use those tools, not to maybe, just get it easier and quicker, though it can help you do, but just to understand how those tools work and how they can help you in your everyday work, not by any means to replace you. And of course, the main point is that we teach using a flipped class methodology. I'm sorry. And what does that mean? That means that you study your theory at home. So you will have a separate block of materials you should look through before the class. And the class itself would be a live online class with a teacher that you will use to actually practice all that material that you have learned. Why that's a great opportunity? Because only on those classes with a teacher, you can actually talk to them, ask questions, ask for guidance, show them what you ended up with and you don't know how to fix the result. And the teacher, like Alex, like all the other our teachers, are open to communication, to helping you master the necessary skills, to help you navigate those challenges, and to help you at the end of this journey obtain the, let's say, the title of trainee or junior front-end developer. I think we can move on a little bit to discussing the course in general and in detail. So the detailed information, of course, will be given by Alex, but in case you're interested, the closed front-end group that we are planning is due to November 13, as far as I remember correctly, and preliminary, we have 2 classes per week, which is Wednesday and Saturday for this particular group. On the working day, the class will be at 7 p.m. So in the evening, and on weekend, it will be at 10 o'clock, as far as I remember. And during 6 months, you will have those 2 lessons to actually keep up with the pace of the course program and to learn and master all the practical skills. And Alex can tell you a little bit more about the general topics you will master. Those we already touched about them, and how the course is generally constructed to help you end up with those beautiful sites as one of our graduates did.
Thank you. That was a really good explanation, basically. Yeah, the main idea of our course, it's a flip system that, let's be honest, all information that you will find, that you will get during this course, it's not a secret. You will be able to find it. It's in open source resources. But the main idea here that this information is only a tools. And how to use these tools is the question to your teacher, because teacher should bring and will bring the own experience with a different like life hacks, like real world cases, how to use these tools. That's why flip system is very useful. When you spend your own time on the theoretical material and during the classes, you're able to ask a person who work with it how to use it, how to implement such feature. If you will have any questions, if you will face any issues, you have the right person to ask. That's why, in my opinion, it's the best way how to study. And the second point, it's a practice. If you will dedicate your own time for a theory, you will have a chance to dedicate more time during classes for a practice. For example, for my groups, we are always willing to practice instead of talking, instead of blah, 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 theory, blah, blah, blah. Nobody likes it. We are not in the university. We are not at the school. I'm always trying to build processes in my groups like in a real team, between team members, between team managers. And I'm like a team lead trying to organize my team. We have a goal, we have a final project, and I'm willing to show you, to explain how to achieve this goal with our main tools. So back in the days, this course took 4 months. Now it's 6 months to make it more comfortable, in more comfortable pace to let students spend more time on self-education, on home assignments, because at the end of each lesson, students has home assignments, which is necessary to finish, which is necessary to provide until beginning of the next lesson. So basically, students has like 3 days to finish it. And me as a teacher, I'm trying to provide the most extended feedback on this, to point at the mistakes, to explain how to fix it, how to avoid such mistake, why it's a mistake. That's the most useful part of the lesson, in my opinion, when we are discussing mistakes, because if we are if we have some practical example, we won't repeat our mistakes. So 6 months, 2 times per week, 2 hours. 2 hours of discussion, 2 hours of questions, 2 hours of real cases, of real experience. Well, homeworks, 4 modules. First module is HTML. we are talking about HTML5, about the modern way how to implement structure. Why is it necessary? We are talking about tags, tag names, difference, about semantics, about logical meanings for each tag. Tag is like the one particular piece of your structure. We are talking about accessibility. We are talking about search optimization. We are talking about how to create flexible layout, which could be reusable. Then we merge this with the styling. So CSS in pure, like pure CSS, and work with preprocessors as CSS. That basically SCSS is like CSS with superpowers. It allows you to use different functions. It allows you to create variables. It allows you to write your code faster. We are talking about different categories of styling, like text styling, layout styling, animations, all most common typical CSS stuff. We are talking about all of this. At the end, we have first project. I have showed you the example. It's a landing page. It's one single page. It should have proper structure. It should have proper styling. We are working with designs, all designs in Figma. So we study how to get all required information from Figma, how to transform this information into your CSS code. And after this, we're starting with JavaScript, the most crucial part of the course, the most complex part for for students. Usually, students afraid of this part, but at the same time, it's the most interesting part because we have a lot of interactive features. It's not static site anymore. We add animations. We breathe life. We are talking about events. We are talking about data management, data types, how to work with variables, how to work with functions, how to work with classes, how to manipulate with DOM elements on a page, cover all the most typical tasks which I face every day on my current work, on my current position. We are making the same in scope of our classes. After this, we have one more project, project number 2, one more page with HTML, CSS, plus interactive features, plus JavaScript. It's a page with gallery for pictures, with a carousel. And after this, we are moving forward to our last part. It's a React.js. React is number 1. I'm sorry, my phone goes. React is number 1 in rating of the most popular frameworks. It allows you to write your code faster, and it's the main requirement for the job applicants is to be familiar with React. And basically, my main goal in scope of this course is to prepare you to get your first job, to get your first front-end position. So we are talking about popular technical tasks from technical interviews. We are talking about theoretical questions. We are practicing, and at the end, we have final project using students using React should create the full web application. Basically, we have several possible options. What could implement student, but we are always open for new ideas. So if student has some particular idea, what you want to implement, we are always willing to help. Yeah, as usual, more practice and less this boring routine.
Thank you so much for describing the course in details. If you wouldn't mind sharing the presentation, because we also have a few bonuses. One of them is actually a PDF guide, which I believe will come in handy in case you would like to revise what have we talked and discussed today. Basically, of course, you will have the recording and the presentation to look through, but I can imagine it can be hard to find, let's say, an hour of your time to rewatch the stream in whole. But in case you need to revise typical tasks of a front-end developer, who is a front-end developer and what is, let's say, his place in the general process of creating a website or any other kind of product, this PDF guide will come in handy, I hope, to help you recollect everything that we have discussed today. And alongside with the presentation and the recording of today's event, these PDF guides will be sent to you in the email that you used to register for this event. So please use it, and I hope you will find it helpful. And we're actually moving till the end, and the last part, as I promised, of today's event will be a Q&A session. So that's the place where you can ask any questions if you have them to our today's speaker, again, regarding his personal journey in front-end development, regarding any doubts and questions you may have as for now in switching this profession, any personal recommendations, like literally everything. So if you have those questions, please write them down into the chat. We'll wait for a couple of minutes to get questions if there are any. And while we're waiting, not to sit in silence, Alex, my personal question to you will be, do you find this job rewarding for yourself? And if yes, why? What helps you find this joy in this job?
I would say I wasn't a very technical person when I have started. I wasn't a great fan of modern technologies of web development. I was like a normal guy, and I was trying to find a comfortable place for me. And let's be honest, it's a very comfortable work, and that's my main motivation. That's my main reward, that I'm able to work in a comfortable pace. I'm in a comfortable environment with very pleasant people, with a good management. I have pretty flexible schedule. I'm able to dedicate some time for my family, for my personal life. I'm able to work almost from anywhere thanks to COVID and remote work possibility. I'm working from home, and yeah, it's very, I would say, it, it's very handy that you could take a quick nap in between meetings. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's interesting. It became interesting for me. It wasn't on the beginning, but then I realized that wow, it's something real cool. I'm able to create cool things. They looks cool, and they looks very not fancy. Fancy is not the proper way, but let's say modern, immersive, and it's useful for people. I'm trying to do something useful, as I said in the beginning. It's very pleasant for me to think that I'm creating something useful for people. I'm taking care about accessibility of my websites. It means that uh, people with disabilities able to get the same quality of information as like the other users. And that's a very crucial, it's a very important part of our course when we're talking about accessibility, to provide the best user experience to all people. So yeah, this feeling of value of your work, it's yeah, it brings motivation.
Okay, thank you so much for the response. I actually don't see any questions in the chat, unfortunately. So maybe is everything was clear. I'm so glad that it is. In case you will have any questions and you know more that you want to ask them to our speaker, you can always book a free consultation with educational advisors at our website, Beetroot Academy, and they will try their best to help you navigate both tech careers in general and also front-end career as it is. Also, there is still one more bonus for all of the participants of the event. At the presentation, the last slide that you will have in your emails is actually a promo code you can use to get a discount for the price of our course. So if at any case you decide to pursue front-end development career and you decide to study with us, you will have this like additional bonus to make your career and your education a bit more accessible. So I would like to thank all of you for spending this like hour and some half of it with us to describing and discussing this topic of front-end development and to maybe rethinking your career and your future. Alex, thank you so much for dedicating this time to us, for sharing your knowledge, and also for describing in detail how we teach and what we can offer you. So thank you so much. I wish you all a pleasant evening. We are almost at the weekend. And have a nice evening. And I hope to see you either as our students at Beetroot Academy or as guests at another free Beetroot Academy event. Thank you so much and goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.